Well, speaking of issues, 79 million Americans live with pre-diabetes. I know that sounds kind of scary. What is pre-diabetes? Dr. Samadi, how do you prevent getting diabetes? And if you have pre-diabetes, what does that mean? And does it mean you're going to get diabetes?
Well, it follows the same thing that we were talking about. 79 million Americans are suffering. Pre-diabetes basically means that your sugar is high, but it's not high enough to be a real diabetes. And the best test that I want people to know is this hemoglobin A1C. Hemoglobin A1C is a blood test. Look at the list of all the labs that you have from your doctor. It's there. And if it's less than 5.7%, you're fine. Between 5.7% to 6.4%, you are pre-diabetic, and over 6.4%, you're real diabetic patient. Also, if you look at the fasting glucose of less than 100. You fast overnight, the next day you check your sugar. If it's less than 100, you're okay. Between 100 to 125, you're pre-diabetic. Over 125 is you're diabetic. So, Eric, the answer is that there are no symptoms with pre-diabetes. The real symptoms of diabetes where you have thirsty, frequent urination, infections, tinglings, you don't have that. So that's why it's called a silent killer. You should be checked at the age of 45. You need to know that information, or if you are at high risk.
And how do you prevent it? What's the test? You tell your doctor.
That's what I wanted to write down too.
Hemoglobin A1C. And the best way to get rid of this is to lose weight, because by losing weight, you make your insulin to become more sensitive. Your insulin would work, and you prevent it from getting to be diabetic.
You know, Dr. Siegel, you go to the doctor, you think they do all these blood tests, you think they cover all this sort of stuff? Do you have to ask for it?
Well, you shouldn't, and I have to tell you, I agree with David on one point here. I've gone to checking hemoglobin A1C on every patient for this reason. Recent studies have shown that this is really the way to tell if someone's at risk for diabetes. What is it? Your red blood cell is coated with sugar. How much sugar is on your red blood cell? The more that's on your red blood cell, the more the chances are that you have a sugar problem. We need to know it in advance. We need to exercise, as David says. We need to lose weight. We need to cut down on portion size. You need to change your carbohydrates to what you're eating to longer acting carbohydrates, like fruit. Like you want to get fiber from your vegetables. It's not just carbs. It's what kind of carbs.
And how do you know if you had this test? What does it say on that big sheet with all this stuff?
A1C. Eric, one more thing. One more thing.
Well, they have those big sheets, and they've got all this. You guys give us the stuff with like numbers and initials.
You don't want to be too sweet.
Let me explain. The basic point here is that we are born with a certain number of receptors for insulin. Our pancreas is like a motor. It's churning out insulin. The fatter we get, the less of those receptors we have. The less of them we have, the more likely we get diabetes. And we get resistance on the receptors. That's another great point. We have a problem with our metabolism. You've got to lose weight. As you lose weight, your chances go down. You can actually reverse it. You have diabetes one day, you don't have it the next.
All right,
Okay,
and next week we're going to do this.